Hey guys, just saw this question on my page asking basically that food, eating healthily and supplementing in this training lifestyle can be pretty expensive. What kind of things can you do to budget for it, or what should it be costing you? So as somebody that's been doing this for about 15 years, where I've been kind of eating a certain way and training a certain way and using supplements, I've not been in a position that I'm in now, obviously, because people look now and they go, oh, he's a fucking sponsored athlete and things like that, where you get your supplements for free. And that's the case now. You know, obviously sponsored with the companies and stuff, I get my supplements now. But I'm 15 years doing this. When I was 15, 16, 18, 19, 20 through college, just out of college when I started working, I didn't have any money. I was a fucking teacher in London, earning less than nearly minimum wage. And I was still trying to live a lifestyle, so I know how to do it on the cheap. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you a couple of tips that supported me for years. They still do it now, because the reality is I would rather put that money back into, courses or books or investments, things that are going to fill my mind, than spending it on needless and frivolous things that could be saved, with your food and supplements and things. So the things that supported me the most was your food bill is number one. It's funny because you can say all you want about supplements. It's fucking food that's going to cost you a lot of money. So sourcing your food is absolutely crucial. I'm going to explain what I do now and what I did in the past. In the past, when I used to live in London, for example, when I was working as a teacher, paying fucking extortionate rent and earning no money, I don't know what I had at the end of the month to live on, like £400 for that was my month of money to live on. But after I paid rent and everything like that, so I used to go between the different shops to find the best deals on food. So I remember I used to get my salmon in Sainsbury's, I used to get my chicken in Tesco, I used to get my veg in Lidl. So I would literally be moving around the different shops, picking up the cheapest versions of things. That worked really well for me then. And it kind of is still something you can apply today. Like, find out where the foods you eat are going to be pretty standard. I put up a shopping list on my page about the different foods you're going to eat. So your vegetables, your lean meats, your lean fish, your tins of tuna, almonds, nut butters, things like that. It's good. The food's going to be pretty similar week to week. So actually go and have a look at the different stores and see where it's the cheapest in each one. If there's a massive jump, you just go. If you need to go to Dunn's and Tesco and do two small shops, that's going to save you, 50 quid a week or 60 quid a week. That's another tub of protein or another supplement that you need. So what I would do is go between the different shops, find out the best deals on things like meats, where you'll save a lot, your vegetables, where they're doing deals and things like that, and then make them your go-to places. Right now, I get all my meats from Heaney Meats in Galway, so from the butcher in Galway. They're the best value one that I use, and I possibly would actually pay more for the food because I know what the source where it comes from. I know that there's no additives or preservatives or anything added to the meat. That's why I sourced it in the first place. But the irony of it is their fucking kilo of turkey mince is like a third of the price to what it is in Dunn's. So, and you're getting a pure, it's a piece of turkey that's been blended down into mince form. So that's why I get all my meat from there. The same way with different fisheries and stuff. So, source out fisheries. They're way cheaper than buying your meat in like Dunn's or even Tesco to a degree. Find a good butcher, find a good local fishery and see if they'll do you deals. Because normally when you buy it in batch, you're going to get way cheaper than buying it in the shop. Again, that's what I do now compared to when I lived in a city. That's what I did when I lived in London, where I used to go between the different shops. So that's one thing on food. On supplements then, the biggest tip I can give on supplements is buy them in batch. Don't go in and buy a fucking 100 grams of creatine. Because 100 grams of creatine and a kilogram of creatine, you're going to have to spend, say, 40 quid for a kilogram. You're going to pay 25 grams for 100 grams and you're getting 10 times more, So buy it in batch. What I would do is when you have the money, supplements are secondary anyway. Your food is number one, So get your food right. Go between the different stores if you need to. Source yourself a good fisheries and source yourself a good butchers. That's number one, because supplements are very second. But once you've got that extra cash for supplements, go and buy it in batch. Don't buy small tubs of things. Buy the big tubs of protein. Even if it costs you more, save for an extra week or two and buy a big tub, because you're going to save yourself a fortune in the long run. If you're buying a small tub of protein every time you go in and you're paying, nearly 40, 50 euro for a small tub, and the big tub is 70 euro, which is 4 times the size. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that you're going to save so much more money in the long run. That's the biggest thing with supplements. That's what I found as well when I was younger, particularly when I was in college, when I was really struggling because my money bill was my drinking bill, but every once in a while I would put some money aside and I'd buy supplements. But I used to hold off and wait until I had enough to buy a big tub of something, and then I'd add to it, because that's how I built a stack of supplements, because I had massive tubs that lasted for ages. So then, a month later I'd buy another supplement, and a month later I'd buy another supplement, and by the end of the 3 or 4 months I had 3 or 4 supplements that I could still use because I hadn't finished the first one, because I bought the massive tub. So that's kind of my biggest tip on supplements and food. Go source out different shops, find the best prices on, meat, veg, sweet potatoes, porridge, things like that. Find yourself a good butcher's or a fisheries. I can recommend Heaney's in town. I haven't quite got a fisheries yet, purely because I've been eating mostly meat at the minute. But if I do, I'll put up a recommendation. I'll try and get some sort of link in there. And then for supplements, buy your batches, buy your bulk supplements, and you're going to save yourself a fortune. Also, the other thing is, remember with supplements, you're paying for brand to a degree. Block off my brand. You're paying for brand to a degree. Free-form amino acids, free-form supplements are your kings. Your free-form creatine, free-form glutamine, free-form branched chain amino acids. Largely, the brand is irrelevant. Again, I can recommend Amex because I know, at least in Galway and in online, they're one of the cheapest for the free forms. So I don't mind saying them as a company to use. But the reality is, go with the cheapest one for you that works out best within your budget. When you have more money, you can spend more money on things like your intra workouts, like your Recore or your branched chain amino acid flavored drinks with different stuff added in. That's different when you've got more money, and you can add it up. But the reality is, you're largely paying for brand. So a branched chain amino acid free form from Amex is going to be the same as from Optimum Nutrition, is going to be the same as from MyProtein, it's going to be the same as from Muscle Tech, and there might be 20 euro in the difference across, even though they're the exact same product, so just be careful of that. So that's my main tips. Hope that helps. Should save you a couple of quid. If you've got any questions, leave the comments down below. I'll be replying for the next 24 hours.